Imagine driving down the highway and seeing a landscape dotted with NIO's charging stations. You might not need to imagine for much longer. Today, we're diving into some breaking news that's pushing NIO's shares upwards and why it might be a game changer for the electric vehicle market. Hang on to your seats, because this is some electrifying news you don't want to miss. Let's talk about the roller coaster day that NIO had on the last trading session. Grab a cup of coffee and let's get into it. For starters, the stock opened the day at $15.12, a touch higher than the previous close of $14.74. It seems like the market was optimistic from the get-go. NIO then climbed its way up to a daily high of $15.46, outdoing the first upside surge signal of $15.16. That's pretty impressive and shows the bulls were in control during the early trading hours. However, it didn't quite manage to reach the second surge signal of $15.58. It appears that the bulls ran out of steam, or perhaps the bears saw this as an opportunity to step in. Either way, the price was unable to push beyond that point, which suggests a level of resistance at or near the $15.58 mark. Throughout the day, NIO fluctuated between the highs and a daily low of $14.73, which was just below the opening price. Thankfully for the bulls, this was a hair's breadth away from the highest downside surge signal of $13.94. In a way, the stock seemed to be caught in a tug-of-war between the bulls and bears, with both sides trying to assert their control. Eventually, NIO managed to close the day at $15.30, posting a respectable gain of 3.8%. In this turbulent session, the trading range of 4.83% was telling of the strong volatility, and it's clear that this is a stock with a lot of action. Now, let's talk volume. The actual volume was nearly double the average daily volume. It's like a party where twice as many guests showed up than you planned for. With this increased interest, it's clear that NIO was a hot topic in the market, attracting investors with its momentum and volatility. All in all, the price action for NIO was an exciting ride. It broke through some surge signals, danced around others, and remained distant from some. This session was a perfect example of how the complex interplay of market sentiment, technical levels, and trading activity can paint a fascinating picture. Tomorrow, we'll have to see if the bulls can push it past that second surge signal, or if the bears bring it closer to their territory. Only time will tell. Until then, let's keep our eyes peeled on NIO. Let's dive into this news about NIO and see what it means for the stock. First things first, NIO has been on a solid upward trajectory, with its stock climbing over 25% in just the past week. This gain is not just due to some market whim, but is backed by some substantial developments for the company. One of the significant catalysts is the revised price target from UBS, which has boosted it from $13 to $15. We know how the market tends to react to analysts' ratings and price targets. A bump up like this can attract more investors, pushing the stock's price up. However, the key element here, the real meat and potatoes, lies in NIO's latest strategic moves. The company is investing heavily in its charging infrastructure, as evident from its announcement about opening the 1,600th power swap station in China. But they're not stopping there, as the company plans to have 2,300 stations open by the year-end. What does this mean? Well, for starters, it's a massive sign of commitment to their electric vehicle ecosystem. Expanding charging infrastructure is crucial for making EVs more accessible and attractive to consumers. Moreover, NIO is already laying out the groundwork for increased revenue by eliminating free battery swapping services for new buyers. This is a smart move, incentivizing early adopters with free services, and once a solid customer base is established, introducing fees to bolster revenue. Another aspect worth discussing is the overall business environment. The Chinese government announced broad measures aimed at optimizing its business environment. The National Development and Reform Commission, NDRC, is even pledging to boost private investments in areas like transportation and clean energy. This is a significant nod towards companies like NIO. This support from the government isn't just some abstract benefit. It can directly translate into reduced regulatory hurdles, access to more resources, and a better business ecosystem. This helps reduce business risks for NEO and adds to its long-term growth potential, making the company a more appealing investment. Overall, we're seeing an interplay of positive factors here. We have an upbeat analyst sentiment from UBS, NEO's aggressive investment in its infrastructure, and supportive measures from the Chinese government. These factors create a favorable environment for NEO's stock to potentially rise in value. However, as we know, markets can be fickle, and a lot of factors, both known and unknown, can influence stock prices. But with what we've discussed, it's clear that NEO is making substantial strides, and if all these factors continue to align, the company could be on track to maintain its upward momentum. So, let's keep a close eye on NEO and see how the market continues to respond to these developments. Let's talk about these surge signals. Think of them like signposts on a road, telling us if the stock might turn to bullish boulevard or bearish lane. On the upside, we have surge signals at $15.60, $16.21, and $17.39. If the stock starts to push towards the first signal at $15.60, it means the bulls are gaining some traction. It would suggest a trend towards an upward price movement, especially if the price can sustain this level. Investors might see this as a sign of continued momentum, and it could attract additional buying, which can further push the stock price up. The second signal at $16.21 is another critical point. If NEO gets there and doesn't fall back, we could be looking at a solid bullish trend. Traders watching this level might take it as a confirmation of the uptrend and could buy in or hold their positions, reinforcing the stock's rise. The third signal at $17.39 is like the bull's ultimate trophy. If NEO hits this point, it's a pretty robust indication that the stock is in a strong uptrend. It could stir up some excitement, bringing in more investors and potentially causing the price to go even higher. On the other hand, we have downside surge signals at $14.42, $13.81, and $12.63. If the stock starts to dip and approaches the first level of $14.42, it could mean that the bears are starting to take over. If the price holds at this level, it could signal a possible downtrend, potentially prompting some investors to sell or short the stock, which could push the price down further. The second signal at $13.81 is like a red flag for the bulls. If the stock hits this level, it could be a sign that the bears are in control. Traders might take this as a confirmation of the bearish trend, and they might either sell off their positions or short the stock, leading to a potential decline in the price. Finally, the $12.63 level is basically the bear's lair. If the stock tumbles down to this level, it's a strong indication of a solid downtrend. This could trigger a wave of selling, which can further push down the stock price. Remember, these surge signals act as potential turning points or confirmation of the existing trend. However, keep in mind that while these signals can suggest where the stock might head, they are not guarantees. The actual stock price movement depends on various factors, including overall market sentiment, news related to the company, and broader economic indicators. Well, there you have it, folks. NEO's story just keeps getting more exciting, doesn't it? If you enjoyed our deep dive into this electric trailblazer's latest moves, make sure you hit that like button, it helps us a lot. And, if you're not already part of our community, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video. Now, before we wrap up, I want to hear from you. What do you think of NEO's aggressive expansion of its charging infrastructure? Will it supercharge the company's growth? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's get a conversation started.